Hello YouTube, in today's video we're gonna be talking about 10 bad solo queue habits that you might be doing, that you wanna be avoiding in order to increase your chances of winning a game, but also in terms of improving overall as a player in Season 12. So let's just jump into it. The first thing that you wanna be avoiding is spamming games. Spamming games does not help you improve as a player. All it does is it basically gives you a chance of winning more LP with the same current playstyle that you've done for the last 100, 200, 300 games. You don't improve by spamming games, you just keep on flipping LP. The second tip is playing no matter what mood you're in, meaning that you're basically playing all the time. You're playing if you're angry, you're playing if you're upset, you're playing if you're happy, you play if you're frustrated, you're playing if you're hungry. Like, all of these different moods can basically irritate you both in-game and outside the game, so you're more likely to just say, whatever, let's FF, or whatever, I don't care about LP today anyway, and that is overall gonna slow your climbing progress. So only play when you're in a good mood. The third tip is never reviewing your own games. If you never review your own games, you will never see some missed opportunities that you're doing and potential mistakes that you're doing, because you don't see everything while you're playing the game. While you're playing the game, you're focused on playing the actual game. And you might not be able to see every single angle, every single lane, every single situation, but you can when you're outside the game. And that's why reviewing your own games can help you improve as a player and make sure that the next time you get into a game, you don't miss out on a similar opportunity that you did last game. The fourth tip that you want to be avoiding to do is only playing solo queue. Playing solo queue only is respectable to do, but it is not as good as playing with a good duo in terms of climbing. Playing duo queue is simply easier and is better for your climbing. So therefore, if you want to climb a little bit easier, a little bit faster, find a good duo. Typically what I recommend for when it comes to duo is play with lanes that have synergy, meaning jungle mid makes sense, duo bot makes sense. These are probably like the two strongest combinations that you can do. If you're top lane main, try and duo with a jungler or maybe a mid laner. And then when it comes to duos, there are many different approaches that you can have. You can have, we need a good combination, so Diana Yasuo mid lane, Gragas Yasuo mid lane, Malphite Yasuo for top mid, Twitch Lulu for bot lane, Kog'Maw Lulu, Twitch Yumi, like whatever it might be. Those duo combinations are really, really strong and can help you 2v8. If you're not a big fan of it, or if you don't have it in your champion pool, then play something more normal that doesn't have as great synergy, but you want to make sure that you have some type of way to support each other. So meaning, if your duo is AD, you want to be AP. If your duo is AP, you want to be AD. If your duo plays tank, you want to play a carry champion. Is someone playing a mage, then you want to play something different. Basically, don't stack two champions that both go AP, forcing your entire team to go AD, or you and your duo goes AD, and then someone else on the team has to go AP. No, mix up the damage, mix up both engaging and disengaging and whatnot, and come up with the best solution from your duo champion pool. Number 5, changing champion and role from game to game. If you're doing this, then you're slowing your progress of climbing insanely much. What you want to be doing is you basically want to be playing the same role in a very small champion pool, so that you know the limits of your champion, you know the power spikes of your champion, and you basically know your champion in and out. Once you've reached that point, you can focus on everything else that's going on inside the game. You can focus on laning states, you can focus on laners matchups, you can focus on weak side, strong side, you can focus on macro. All the other things that are also a part of the game that are really, really important, you can fully focus on, because now you don't need to think about your champion's limits, the build, what skill order to go. Can I go in? Can I not go in? Am I strong right now? Can I invade? All of these questions are simply not a question anymore, because you know if you can go in or not when you know your champion well enough. Therefore, having a small champion pool, playing the same role, will make your climbing and carry potential a lot better. The sixth tip we have is typing back to people in team chat. There is no point for you to type in team chat, especially typing back to people. So if someone is typing, why are you not ganking my lane, or why are you dying? Well, first of all, you should have your chat muted, but you definitely do not want to encourage the rest of your team to be flaming back and forth and wasting time on using the chat rather than actually playing the game. Therefore, just mute chat. Make sure that if you're a player that usually type back to your teammates, remove the chat completely or mute all. The seventh tip is refusing to dodge. Some people simply refuse to dodge and says every game is winnable. And to that I say, yes, there is a small chance of you winning. There always is a chance. 1%, 2%, 10%, whatever it might be. Enemy team maybe be from the same country and the internet power goes away from the entire team. There's always a chance of winning, but you don't want to be playing against the odds. Make it as easy for you as possible. Make sure that you're 5-man on main role. Make sure that everyone's playing a champion that makes sense. Make sure that if you have the better team comp, then you don't have to dodge. But if the enemy team has the better team comp, then you dodge. You don't want to be playing against the odds, because why would you when you can just decide to dodge and not get punished for it? So dodge whenever it makes sense to dodge. Don't sit with the mentality of every game is winnable. Because yes, every game is winnable, but not to the same extent. Some games are very easily winnable, whereas other ones are super difficult to win. So make it as easy for yourself as possible by dodging. The eighth tip is autopiloting. And this kind of goes back to tip number 1 of spamming games. You don't want to be autopiloting. You want to be thinking about the game. You want to be focused on the game. And basically tryharding. You don't want to sit and not think about the game and just say, I'll just go with the flow. I'll just do this jungle camp and this jungle camp and then power farm the entire game and not care, because that's probably not the best way for you to win. So think about the game, think about how you can win, think about what is the next play, and think ahead of time. There's no point in autopiloting. If you autopilot, you're playing at way worse performance than if you're tryharding. And that way, again, you're not actually trying your hardest to win anymore. The ninth tip is tilting. So if you're super tilted from last game and you're like, oh, my jungler last game did not gank me, or my laner last game completely solo lost the game. If you're still thinking about last game while you're playing a new game, you should have not queued up for another game. You should not queue up for another game if you tilted from the previous one. Forget about what happened in the last game and then queue up for another game. Because otherwise you bring all that negative energy into the next game. And then you're more likely to type in the next game if any team gets first spot. It's like, oh, FF15, or another jungler that does not gank, or another laner that dies 1v1. No need for that. And it's just gonna basically kill the chances of you winning because you're tilting yourself for literally no reason. So don't go into a new game if you're tilted, and try to minimize your tilt by focusing on yourself, focusing on your own mistakes, and try not to tilt throughout the game, and instead try and tilt after the game, saying, okay, I did not play good, or my teammates did not play good, whatever it might be, but don't do it during the game. And at least don't type it in chat. The 10th tip is blaming your teammates. The teammates is not your fault for being stuck in the elo that you're stuck in. They might be a reason for a couple of your losses, but as I always say, if you play 100 games, 95% of the games will be winnable. The last 5 games are people that are running it down, rage quitting, doing whatever they can to lose you the game. But those 5 games are not the reason why you're hard stuck. It's the other 95 games where you could have played better, but you didn't. That's what you need to focus on, and this is the mentality you need to have in order to climb. Because if you're blaming your teammates every single game, then you're not gonna get anywhere. Yes, everyone does mistakes, including yourself, but that is not the reason why you lose, because enemy team makes the same mistakes. You just need to figure out what mistakes they're doing and punishing them. And if you don't do that, well, then you're probably not going to win the game. And that's just how it is. So these are my 10 bad solo queue habits that you should try to avoid if you can. If you're doing any of these, then there is a solution for them. And hopefully this will help you play better and improve faster as a player, and in the end get you to higher ranks, which is eventually the goal for everyone. So if you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like. If you have any questions regarding some of the topics I mentioned here, leave it in the comment section down below and I will go more in depth about them. And always, if you enjoyed, remember to subscribe. That will help my channel out a lot. And I hope to see you guys in my next YouTube video or on my next live stream on Twitch. See you guys.